Hi, this is Richard Chamberlain. Welcome back to the Protecting Your Family's Future podcast. This is episode number 123. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between a trust amendment and a trust restatement. Now, if you have a trust, the concept of an amendment versus a restatement may be new to you. Uh, these are tools that we use when someone wants to make changes to an existing trust. An amendment is just what it sounds like. It's a change to an existing document. So you can amend anything. But in this context of a trust amendment, this is where you are making changes to a specific provision of the trust or multiple provisions of the trust. You can change the names of the people who are serving as your successor trustees, or you can change your beneficiaries, or you can change really anything. And in a trust amendment, you can change a single provision or you can change multiple provisions. So an amendment is just a change to the existing trust. Now, you can have multiple amendments. So if you did your trust in 2010 and a couple of years later you wanted to make a change, you do an amendment to your trust. And then maybe a couple of years after that, you want to make another change. So you can do another amendment to your trust. So you're amending your amended trust. Now, as you can kind of guess, that gets a little complicated over time because if the First Amendment changes certain provisions and then the Second Amendment changes those same provisions and maybe different provisions, then when someone is trying to determine what the trust is saying, what the instructions are, you have to compare the original trust with the First Amendment to the Second Amendment and the Third Amendment and the Fourth Amendment and so on. So at some point, the amendments get a little unwieldy. And at that point, you might want to do a restatement of your trust. Now, a restatement of the trust is an amendment of the entire thing. It's kind of starting over, but better than starting over. You're not getting a new trust that has to be refunded. You don't have to retitle all of your assets into that trust and change beneficiary designations to the new trust because the restatement is the same trust. So again, if you did a trust in 2010 and in 2024 you do a restatement of your trust, this is a restatement of the 2010 trust. So it's still the 2010 trust. But the good thing about having a restatement, it cleans the slate. You don't have multiple amendments and an old original trust, and you're trying to compare all the different versions and what's actually in place now and what's not, what's been removed and what's been added. You have a clean slate. So you can read the trust from beginning to end and you know exactly what it is because it's all been restated. The original trust and all the amendments have been replaced with this new document called the restated trust. Now, the other nice thing about having a restatement is if you have an older trust, then when you do a restatement, you are bringing the language in that trust to current laws, to current techniques, to current procedures for how things are done. So what we like to say is, as we improve as attorneys, and we're trying to constantly improve the way we do things, the language that we use, that new language will be incorporated into all of our old trusts as we do restatements of those old trusts. So you not only get a new trust that's nice and clean and easy to read, but it's also completely updated for the current laws, as well as your current needs and goals. So that's the difference between a trust amendment and a trust restatement. If you have questions about updating your existing plan, if you're in Ohio or in Michigan, we can help you with that. Our contact information is in the show notes. I hope that's helpful for you today, and we will see you again next week. Thanks.